said, the 1988 International Motorsports Association season appeared destined to repeat a refrain echoed throughout the 80s, when a squadron of Porsches won nearly 3/4 of the races among the world's fastest sports cars, Grand Touring prototypes, or GTPs. What the German Porsches didn't win in '88, a new 3-car entry from the world champion British Jaguar team was likely to. Sure enough, the season opening 24 Hours of Daytona was a two-brand struggle. Jaguar first and third, led by Denmark's John Nielsen, with co-drivers Martin Brundle of England and Brazil's Raul Boesel. Porsche swept the rest of the top 7 places. In round 2, through the streets of Miami, the Porsches and Jaguars were led by a single red, white, and blue car, making its first 1988 appearance, the Nissan. Brake problems dropped the Nissan from the lead after 38 laps, leaving Price Cobb in a Porsche to battle the Jaguar of Daytona winner John Nielsen to the finish. With his victory, Cobb evened the score between Porsche and Jaguar at 1 win apiece and claimed the role of Nielsen's primary challenger for the 1988 Driver Championship. While Porsches were sweeping the top 5 places at Sebring, Florida, the Nissan team was a few hundred miles north in cold, rainy Georgia, preparing to rewrite the record books. After 3 years of private frustration and public ridicule, this team was about to turn the 1988 IMSA season into the year of the Nissan. There are 3 basic elements needed to make a $300,000 GTP car go fast. A totally prepared car, a totally committed crew, and a courageous, intelligent driver. In 1988, the Nissan GTP team finally had all 3. Don Devendorf, holding the umbrella, is team owner. An engineer and a former driving champion, Devendorf has spent 3 years developing what is formally called the Nissan GTP ZX Turbo, a totally new race car from the ground up. For the crew, most of whom have been with the project from the start, that brake problem at Miami was the latest in a string of glitches that have prevented the Nissan from realizing the potential that Devendorf and his team know it possesses. Pit watchers will tell you Devendorf is a genius, a dreamer, and a workaholic.
It's not all theory. There's a lot of hard facts and hard practical, just plain gut-wrenching work that you have to do to get involved in any of these activities. And you've got to have done your homework, and you've got to be willing to work hard, stay late, and do what it takes to make a winner.
Above all, Don Devendorf is a gambler. Here at Road Atlanta on race morning, Brabham and co-driver John Morton switched to the team's new car, forcing him to give up the pole and start in mid-pack. Another team owner might not have taken that gamble. Early in the race, Brabham pits the Nissan after charging from 13th place to take the lead. He's ready to hand over the driving chores to John Morton. And then, what is feared most happens. Fire breaks out. Fire in the Nissan pits. The crew is right there with the extinguishers. The flames are quickly doused, but they've lost the lead to the John Nielsen, John Watson Jaguar. Road Atlanta became the kind of race movies, grade B melodramas, are made of. A comeback against overwhelming odds that seem impossible. But it really happened.
Jeff Brabham and John Morton. Despite that nasty-looking pit fire, they have come from behind twice to pass John Nielsen's Jaguar. They could become the 4th different winners in as many races this season, driving the 3rd different brand of car. Jaguar has won, Porsche has won, and now it looks like Nissan will win. The checkered flag awaits for Jeff Brabham, signaling the start of what may be the most competitive year in IMSA history.
It was more than a victory. The Nissan team had proven they possessed the speed and the reliability to run with Porsche and Jaguar. After their pit misadventure, they had also found the confidence to come from behind and win. IMSA's Round 5 took the series back to Florida, to a tight, unforgiving temporary circuit in West Palm Beach, a track that allows no mistakes. Here, for the first time, co-drivers Brabham and Morton are the favorites if only sentimental. They're an odd couple. Brabham, son of three-time Formula One world champion Sir Jack Brabham, a transplanted Australian who rose through the professional ranks, driving glamorous single-seat racers from Super Vs to Indy cars. John Morton is a laid-back Californian, a former Hollywood stuntman and a journeyman race driver of the highest order. Give Morton a race car, and he gives you back all the car has to offer. Their careers came together in the late 1970s on the Can-Am circuit. On one fateful occasion, their cars did too.
We always laugh about it, but John and I probably had our biggest accidents together when we were racing against each other in a Can-Am race. We're battling for the lead, and we hit each other in the pit lane as we came out. And I just figured, well, if I'm his teammate, at least that eliminates that possibility.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity for Jeff to resurrect my career that he ruined that day.
With his father, the legendary former world champion Blackjack, looking on at West Palm, Brabham started the Nissan on the pole. Near midway, a broken gearbox sent points leader Nielsen into the trackside concrete. The number at 60 Jaguar was out of the race, where it would be joined by more than half the 34 starters. Near halfway, Morton passed the second Jaguar, driven by Flying Dutchman Jan Lammers. Brabham took over in the lead and carried the team home to its second straight victory. The Jaguar finishing second, Price Cobb third for Porsche. For the first time in 4 years, a car other than a Porsche had won 2 straight IMSA races.
You know, we've proved that the Nissan's reliable, and we're going to be a factor every race we go to, and I can't wait.
West Palm Beach was a turning point for the Nissan team. After missing 2 of the first 3 races, that win vaulted Brabham into 7th place in the Drivers' Championship, just 20 points behind Nielsen, 18 behind Cobb. To have a chance at any title, however, the team will have to run the remaining races flawlessly. There will be no margin for error over the next 6 months. Connecticut's Lime Rock Park, a long way from the Nissan shops in El Segundo, California. To provide insurance for the championship run, Don Devendorf and the team rolled out a brand new car for John Morton. It nearly cost them everything.
I don't remember anything. I was lucky. I just remember being upside down, and then I don't remember anymore.
Miraculously, Morton escaped with facial cuts, burns, and bruises. But the team's new $300,000 race car was a total loss.
The team was really supportive. They were extremely concerned that something that they had done caused the car to have the accident. None of it was their fault. None of it was negligence, and none of it was carelessness or inadequacy in any way.
Over the years, the Nissan suffered more than its share of mechanical disaster. A string of spectacular crashes kept the team rebuilding cars, leaving no time for the hundreds of miles of testing necessary to develop a winning combination. But the team never lost heart.
You know, after you get over the disappointment and you wake up the next morning, and you know, I just stand back and I look at the team and I say, there's no way that this team's going to be down for very long. There's just too much talent here.
Talent such as designer Trevor Harris, who reworked the chassis to help turn the Nissan's fortunes around. And crew chief Ashley Page, who led the crew in a redoubled effort after that crash, reducing their latest car to a twisted wreck. As an ailing Morton watched from the sidelines, Brabham set out to run Lime Rock alone. The arch-rival Jaguar team took the pole and led much of the race until Brabham summoned up yet another closing charge. Brabham, the Aussie, and Nielsen, the Dane, joined in a door-banging battle fit for a stock car short track on Saturday night. Behind them, Price Cobb soldiered along in 6th, out of contention. With 9 laps to go, Brabham slipped past to take the lead for good. The Nissan's 3rd straight win climaxed a weekend of roller coaster emotion for the team and rekindled an old rivalry for Brabham.
I think John Nielsen was driving, and John and I raced against each other in Formula 3, and it was like that then, and he must remember I still haven't forgotten how to do it.
3 straight victories lifted Brabham to 4th in the Drivers' Championship, 18 points behind Nielsen, with Price Cobb and his Porsche in 2nd and his co-driver James Weaver 3rd. Brabham's next chance to close the gap was just 6 days off, and with it, the chance to tie an IMSA record. Brabham and Team Nissan arrived at beautiful Mid-Ohio, determined to match the IMSA single-season record of 4 straight victories. Doing so would put both Brabham and Nissan in legendary company. Peter Gregg, a 6-time IMSA champion, won 4 straight in 1973, while Englishman John Fitzpatrick repeated the feat in 1980. Each drove a Porsche in his streak, and each streak led to a championship. Records aside, the Nissan team had plenty of incentive to keep winning, paying back a few old snubs.
The guys on this team have been with this car for a long time, and they've been in a situation where they've been working on a car that's in a million bits, and now they've gone the full circle where, you know, they've taken a car that really wasn't very successful and turned it into a race winner, and I think they've got a tremendous amount of pride.
Kaz Kastner watches over all of Nissan's racing programs. Keeping the GTP team motivated is the least of his worries.
These are good people, and a lot of the pressure is internal pressure you put on yourself to do the best job you can.
Driver Tom Gloy was recruited on short notice to replace the injured John Morton for Mid-Ohio. The former sedan champion responded with a superb performance. Taking over the unfamiliar car in the lead, Gloy brought it back an hour later, still out front.
I got limited practice and I was a little bit concerned, but as the race went on, I got quicker and quicker and was able to give it back to Jeff still in first, so I was pretty happy.
With Gloy's Mid-Ohio assistance, Brabham won that 4th race in a row. John Nielsen once again was second. The victory moved Brabham past Price Cobb into 2nd place in the driver's standings, 13 points behind Nielsen. 4th of July, 1988 brought the IMSA parade to historic Watkins Glen, New York, a track that holds a special meaning for Jeff Brabham. In 1961 and 66, his father Jack held the pole for the U.S. Formula One Grand Prix at the Glen. Blackjack never won there. Now it was his son's turn to try. Former IMSA champion John Paul Jr. won 5 straight GTP races over 2 seasons, 81 and 82. But no driver had done it in a single season. Despite the 4 wins that had fueled his championship charge, Brabham remained mindful of the odds against him.
I feel like we're a tremendous underdog to win the championship, mainly because my chief opposition, say John Nielsen, he doesn't start the races and he has 2 cars to choose from. So really he has 2 chances to score good points every race, where I only have 1.
But what a one! Brabham's Nissan took the pole at Watkins Glen by 2 seconds. In the race, John Nielsen never had a chance to choose between the Jaguars. Martin Brundle, parking 1 car with engine trouble, followed soon after by the 2nd Jag when local hero Davy Jones tangled with a Dobson-Morgan Pontiac and nearly flipped. With John Morton back in harness and a timely yellow flag to make a much-needed fuel stop, Brabham overhauled the Porsche of defending series champion Chip Robinson and pulled away to win. Brabham's 5th consecutive triumph vaulted him past Nielsen and into the lead in the Drivers' Championship for the very first time. Race morning at Wisconsin's Road America, a track known for its speed. Brabham walking to an uncharacteristic 5th starting spot as he goes for 6 in a row. Shortly after the race began, the fiberglass began to fly. Contact between Brabham and the Jaguar, driven by Jan Lammers, sent both cars spinning off the track. An angry Brabham pitted for repairs and then returned to the fray in 13th position. Once again, Brabham and Morton were forced to play catch-up. Again, they responded. Just after halfway, Brabham shadowed the Porsche, driven by 2-time World Sports Car Champion Derek Bell of England, then passed him for the lead. Brabham's 6th straight victory extended his record and put him within reach of the all-time IMSA mark for consecutive wins in any class of car as the series moved to Portland, Oregon. Portland was synonymous with heartbreak for Nissan. Twice Brabham had won the pole and led the race, only to stumble in the final laps. For the first time since Lime Rock, the team attacked in numbers with a 2nd car for John Morton. 2 cars could help protect Jeff Brabham's 17-point lead for the driver's title. They could also take points away from Porsche in the other key IMSA title chase. the Manufacturers' Championship.
The championship is something else that was not a goal to start with. It is now. It is a goal for us now. But it wasn't just not too long ago.
In an eerie reprise of the 2 preceding years of disappointment, the Nissan swept not only the pole, but the entire front row at Portland. But this time, the disappointment was for others. For Jaguar, as Jan Lammers slid off the track en route to 4th place, one behind the sister car of John Nielsen. For Porsche, as its champion, Chip Robinson tangled with another car and fell out of contention, while Price Cobb's title hopes dimmed as he struggled home 5th, best of the German cars. Brabham was simply untouchable, leading from start to finish, burying the Portland jinx with teammate Morton close behind in 2nd. Brabham's incredible run of 7 straight victories tied the all-time, all-class record set by GTO champion David Cowart, half of whose career victories came in the 81 win streak. In 1988, it was time to sweep the record books clean. For the first time, Brabham and Nissan set atop both the drivers' and the manufacturers' standings. Sears Point Raceway, on the fringe of California wine country near San Francisco. Narrow, hilly, capable of snuffing out hopes of victory at any one of its 12 turns. With a 23-point lead over John Nielsen for the Drivers' Championship, Jeff Brabham discovered the taste of victory creates an appetite for more.
It just seems like once we started winning, everything kind of snowballed, and each time we go to a race, we got more enthusiasm, and, you know, we just want to keep the streak going so bad.
From the first wave of the Sears Point green flag, the race was a 2-car skirmish. Brabham leading once again from the pole, finding his mirrors full of Jaguar, driven by a determined Martin Brundle, team for the race, with Brabham's rival Nielsen. Using all the skill developed over years of Formula One racing, Brundle hounded Brabham and finally used a daring move down the inside to pass the Nissan and take the lead. Every driver knows that races are won in the pits as well as on the track. Playing his trump card, Brabham pitted before Brundle. The Nissan crew sprang into action, fitting fresh tires and filling the tank in less than 30 seconds. Moments after Brabham returned to the track, the leading Jaguar made its stop. John Nielsen took over, hoping to close ground on Brabham in the points with a win here. It was a strategy that played into Brabham's hands. When Nielsen resumed the lead on the unfamiliar track, Brabham struck.
Brabham pulls the Nissan right up behind Nielsen's Jaguar. You can bet Brabham is banking on Nielsen not being up to speed just yet. At turn 12, inside at the carousel, the Nissan takes the inside track. Jaguar tries to close the door, and they touch. The Nissan squeezes by and into the lead. Jeff Brabham is on his way.
On his way to a record 8th straight victory, Brabham and Nissan were now in a class by themselves in sports car racing history.
You know, I think the key to the race really was they changed drivers, and it probably just took a few laps for John Nielsen to get going, and that gave me the little cushion I needed, but I had to run flat out the whole way.
It's phenomenal. It's unbelievable. You know, the winning streak, we really actually just try not to think about that. We just consider each race on its own. And right now we've been looking towards San Antonio. We've got that race coming up, and the preparation machine starts again.
A crash in San Antonio practice on the tight street course forced quick repairs before qualifying. Brabham then certified the crew's handiwork with his 8th pole in 10 tries. During the race, John Morton was passed by the Porsche of Price Cobb and James Weaver. In his haste to regain the lead, Morton collided with California's Skeeter McKittrick, and the Nissan fell further behind. Brabham returned to the cockpit with time to engineer yet another come-from-behind miracle to preserve the team's winning streak. But with the laps running down, a drive shaft broke. The car coasted to a stop. The 8-race streak was finished.
There's no way you can just go through and finish every race without having some sort of problem. And I don't know, it's been a great run, and it's over, and now we're just going to concentrate on the next race.
Brabham's rival, John Nielsen, failed to gain ground at San Antonio as his Jaguar, driven by England's Andy Wallace, lost its brakes and crashed. Victory went to the Cobb-Weaver Porsche, putting the German brand back on top in the manufacturer's chase. by a single point. The quest for the championship moved next to Columbus, Ohio, where all thoughts of championships were forgotten this day following the tragic death of Al Holbert. The five-time IMSA champion was killed in this plane crash, leaving memories of 49 victories, leaving memories of a man most special in character and spirit. Back at the track, John Morton had withdrawn. His Nissan replacement was Brabham's Indiana neighbor, the Irishman, Derek Daly, who in his first Nissan drive and his first visit to Columbus outqualified Brabham to take the pole. With his qualifying buddy as an escort, Brabham set out to put Nissan back on the winning track. It was the usual full-contact street race. One of the first victims, a totally new twin-turbo Porsche, the latest effort by the German automaker to reassert its racing domination. Daly, too, suffered traffic problems, losing valuable time, but not as much as the Jaguar drivers, who found one another at a particularly treacherous corner. Once again, it was Jeff Brabham taking a wire-to-wire victory, and this time, the 1988 IMSA Drivers' Championship.
To win the championship is really a great accomplishment for the whole team, and the car ran very, very well, and I'm very happy for Nissan and myself. This is great.
Oh, this feels great. This is really a special race for us because it finally cinches the Drivers' Championship. We got one more to go, though, and it's going to be a battle down to the wire for the manufacturers.
At Del Mar, California, Nissan had one goal, beating Porsche for the IMSA Manufacturers' Championship. Leading by 4 points, Brabham and co-driver Derek Daly needed only to stay within one place of the highest finishing Porsche to add the manufacturer's title to Brabham's driving crown. But racing to place is not the Nissan style. Running hard on a bizarrely slick surface, Brabham ran afoul of German Klaus Ludwig's Porsche. He slid helplessly into the unforgiving concrete. Brabham emerged with a badly bruised leg and broken dreams of derailing Porsche. Martin Brundle and Jan Lammers drove a brilliant race to give Jaguar a season-ending victory. Ludwig finished second, and French endurance ace Bob Wollek was third. Derek Daly fourth. By dint of sheer numbers, Porsche edged Nissan for the IMSA manufacturer's title by 1 point. Team Nissan gained a measure of revenge in November when Jeff Brabham and John Morton swept the field in a special invitational race for IMSA GTP and the similar European Group C cars in Tampa, Florida. By any measure, the Nissan team in 1988 fashioned one of the most productive seasons in sports car racing history. 13 races, 10 victories, including a record 8 in a row. 5 of Jeff Brabham's 9 poles set record speeds. The Nissan also set the fastest race lap in all 10 victories, also at record speed. Don Devendorf's pride and joy, a car once scorned as fast but fragile, became fast and formidable, completing 95% of the laps in its races.
It's just a combination of a tremendous amount of hard work by some tremendously talented people, and for the end result is just a fantastic race car. It's one of the best race cars I've ever driven.
In a racing program, there's so many pieces of it. You have to have a good car, good drivers, and a good organization. You have to have good pit work, and another thing, you have to have people that really work well together.
I've had a lot of race teams and been with a lot of racing teams over a long time now, and this is, without no question, the best race team I've ever been with, been around.
The 1988 IMSA season was a year of exhilarating triumph and the depths of misfortune. But Team Nissan proved that with dedication, courage, and teamwork, great odds can be overcome and dreams can come true.